The preferences editor is just another among the other kinds of editor, such as the 3D view or the timeline, although we'll usually access it using the file menu or pressing its shortcut Ctrl-Alt-U. Those buttons on the upper side are just the different tabs grouping all the preferences. Now we'll just need to know that this window exists. Many of the options contained there make sense when we really need it, so by now we aren't going to worry a lot about them. If we take the time to study them, we'll see that we can change the language, which mouse button is used for selection, and a ton of many other things that look really interesting. Nevertheless, it's crucial to keep in mind that the default preferences are there for a reason and are the best choice for most users. Experimenting in general is okay and is also interesting to do it with preferences, but sometimes we should refrain this curiosity to avoid its effects interfere with our learning process. It's also important to remember that any change to any or most parameters has an immediate effect. In other words, we don't need at all to press some OK or Apply button, neither that Save User Settings one. This latter is just used when we need the current preferences to become the default next time we launch the program. A plugin is a complementary tool which serves to widen the features of a main application from which it depends. In Blender, plugins are called add-ons and are like little pieces of software, or not so little, written in a programming language called Python. Their purpose is diverse from importing and exporting to common data exchange formats to automate tasks like creating bolts or animal shells, or even to create really sophisticated animations. Blender comes by default with a fairly big amount of already installed add-ons. We can find them all through the Addons tab. Only those which have a check mark are enabled. We can tell which add-ons are installed, enabled, or from one type or another using the text and category filters at the left side. Each one of the add-ons can be unfolded to access further details. To enable or disable them, we just have to click the checkbox accordingly. It can also be interesting to have a look at the file section, since it has several options related to how backup data is created and other methods to minimize accidental data loss. Finally, if you think you screwed up the default preferences or interface while you were experimenting, the best thing you can do is to reset all to some kind of factory defaults. This is done using the option Load Factory Settings in the File menu. Be aware that this is going to get rid of any data currently in the file, if it's not saved. Then, to save as default the recently restored factory settings, you can use Save Startup File for the interface and Save User Settings for the preferences, or both.